It's what we do on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We talk Miami football with all of you. Appreciate you being here. Leave those comments and questions there in the live chat. This is Miami Hurricanes Live. We've got the Wholesome One on board, as we always do. Wholesome One, what's going on?
Today is a good day, Mark. Today is a good day. It's been a good time to be a Miami Hurricane. We've been doing well. We've been kicking behind and shooting up the ranks. And who knows, man? Every time we hop on, there's some new stuff that has happened to Miami and for Miami in a good way. And I feel like, and I say this after every show, there will be more that's gonna come through. And by the next time we go live, it'll be more for us to talk about.
I know nothing more than your typical football fan about offensive line play. And you love play in the trenches, more so on the defensive side. Those are your roots, but still you can appreciate and know how important it is to have an offensive line that dominates. But I will tell you, I checked out Francis Mauigoa's huddle tape, and I just saw him like take guys with one arm and throw them to the side. And I just saw him like engulf people, just mash them to the ground. And it doesn't take a football expert to know, okay, that's good. That'll work. That'll open a lane up.
Yeah. In so many ways we can get really technical about it. We could break down, hook step blocks and zone blocks and things of that nature, and gap blocking, man blocking. But when you talk about somebody that has the size and the man strength to move other grown men against their will, then that's what you have to have in order to be an elite program. In order to man the line of scrimmage, whether that be in pass protection or in the run game, you need the size and you need people who can move people. And you need people who can move folks that are just as big as them, if not bigger. Okay, when you look at Francis, man, we talked about it, Mark. We talked about a complete transformation on this roster. And that we went from being second or third in the Coastal, sometimes fourth and fifth in the ACC, third in the ACC. We went from being a team that when you looked at us on paper, you looked at that as being our medium or our height. We may not be in the ACC championship game, but we can be in competition for it. We can fight for it. But when you talk about having the absolute best roster and funneling 5-star after 5-star after 5-star and 4 stars, not only are you going to do that, they're going to positions where they're going to be developed amongst some of the best at their position. Offensive line. Coach Mario Cristobal at the time was thought of as the best offensive line coach. Now, did he have Alabama talent? Absolutely. But he was thought of as one of the best recruiters and the best developers at offensive line at Alabama. He goes over to Oregon and continues the tradition and puts a bunch of guys in the second and third round, and then boom, gets his year 3, gets his first round offensive tackle, a top 10 pick. So I was elated, Mark, elated, because not only does this talk about on the football field, this talks about off the football field. Okay, when Marigoa picked Miami, he spent about 2 minutes speaking in his native tongue of Samoan. And as he's talking in his native tongue, he flips it and now speaks in English after saying everything he said in Samoan in English. And he talked about the biggest difference was that it wasn't a font, it wasn't a front, it wasn't someone being disingenuous. It was people being genuine with him and embracing his culture and embracing who he is and how he plays, how he worships, and bringing that mixed with developing him as a football player also. And it was everything he was looking for he could get at Miami. He talked about all these other places, where, yeah, they magically pretend like there's palm trees. Ain't no palm trees in Gainesville, sir. I'm sorry. There's no beaches in Gainesville. Okay. Yeah, there are some at
None?
USC.
They're on the
They're
water. You can't find a beach in Gainesville. Yeah.
in
I'm thinking
Gainesville.
I'm thinking Jacksonville. Okay. Gainesville.
Now it's some beautiful scenery in USC, but I think they were late to the party as far as building a relationship with him.
Sure.
And our defensive line coach happens to also be his uncle. So I mean, it was a perfect marriage. And This speaks just volumes because what it showed me, Mark, is for the first time since I've been doing this, these elite players didn't have to, or player, I'll speak about one in particular in Francis. One particular player didn't say, oh, I want to wait and see what Miami's going to do on the football field. They were able to invest and go in and say, I want to be a part of this without even seeing this staff or Coach Murray or Cristobal coach a game yet. That's always been the argument that the elite talent has said. We're going to wait to see if Miami's going to Miami this thing. We're going to wait to see if Miami's going to end up losing to Virginia on a stupid Thursday night. I'm going to wait to see if Miami shows up and loses to FIU. Instead, this premier prospect that could have gone anywhere in the country decided, you know what, I'm in. And not only that, you have, Rashada, who was before him, a week before him, and bringing in a marquee quarterback. I talked about that. Bringing in a marquee quarterback, a top 10 player at this position, this early in the process, he can do the recruiting for you. Not only, these great players want to play with other great players. They don't want to go and try to be Duke Johnson, where you're a high 4-star, almost borderline 5-star, and 5-star in some places, but 4-star according to ESPN. And your entire career, you're out there giving all you have to go 7-5, 9-3, 6-7. They don't want to have to go through that anymore. And I'm excited, man. I think he is, to be honest with you, Mark, in combination with another offensive lineman who I think Miami will get their hands on later in the latter half of this same month in July. I think Miami is going to get their right side of the offensive line handled. Now, when it comes to Francis Mauigoa as a player, aggressive. Quick setter. Now, Mark, we talked about this before. What does a quick setter mean? Quick set offensive line. What's a quick setter?
Quick center?
Setter. Quick setter.
We talked about this before. Quick setter. Hang on just a second. Backs up and sets up in the pocket quickly? Is that a quick setter?
Yes. No. A quick setter is someone that, even when they play offensive tackle, they do it as if they're playing guard. What that means is as soon as the ball snaps, they take 2 steps, boom, boom, and try to stop you before allowing you to gain momentum, as opposed to someone that can kick with the smooth kick slide, which would be a soft setter. When they kick back, they allow them to come in and you absorb the blow, and now your hand replacing it. That's a soft set. A quick set or a hard set is when you only take 2 steps because you don't want this person to build momentum and either bull rush you or fly past you. So this is also used on slants or like quick screens, things of that nature. But he uses it on majority of his pass block sets because he's such a powerful man. So what he does, he takes the 2 steps and just slaps you and they go flying by. He likes to do that. He likes to do now in the run game, Mark. Oh, my goodness. I love it. I love his run blocking, whether he's stepping down on 4-eye techniques or 3 techniques and he's just digging them out of the gap, whether he's stepping out. The other thing is their offensive line coach at IMG, man, Mark, get technical on you again. So what we call a drop step at offensive tackle is when someone is you lose ground to gain ground. Reason being, if we're doing a stretch, let's say we're doing 24 or 26, 28 off the right side, who's the right tackle. When you have that defense end who's already on the outside shade of you in a 5 technique, okay, you have to step back to step at an angle to block him. Because if you just take a step right at him, he automatically has the edge based on simple alignment. Okay, so you see him use technique even at the size of 6'5", 330. Even at the strength of, benching 500 pounds and squatting 600, 700 pounds. He's using technique. So that means he's taking to his coaching And that also means that there's another level that you can take him even when he gets here. He's not just a finished product. Okay. Now, things I'm a little nervous about. I have not seen enough of his pass sets. On his highlight tapes that I've seen, they're all either quick set pass protection, which I only seen 2 of them on the entire highlight tape. The rest is run blocking, just him mauling people, all run blocking. So I don't know if that means he has the feed or he doesn't have the feed. I don't know. All I know is there's still another season that he can play, and there's still going to be work and development that I know his coaches are going to look at there. But like I said, from what I've seen, I didn't get a chance to pull up all of IMG games and watch him pass protect. I mean, obviously he has to pass protect, but as far as what he put out there film-wise, it was only 2 pass protection snaps, and one was a play action pass where he just locked onto him. The other one was a quick set. So I really haven't seen him move his feet in pads. Now, when they go to those O-line, D-line camps, great feet, smooth feet, smooth feet. Can step in front of people. But again, I judge O-line, D-line on what we do in pads, not what we do in T-shirt and shorts, where the D-linemen basically have an advantage because, you know, what am I going to grab? I have nothing to grip here as an offensive lineman. So the only thing I will say that kind of is still rubbing me wrong way is, how does he go from being the #1 offensive tackle and a 5-star to when he commits to Miami, now he's a 4-star? I'm confused. I don't know if that's the composite score because 247 has him as a 5-star. But when he committed, his picture said Francis Malgoa, 4-star offensive tackle, picks Miami. Just saying. I mean, I have no need to just sit here and complain all day. I'm just saying it's starting to get a little old that when these great prospects pick Miami.
Yeah, I'm looking at 247 Sports. He's a 5-star. He's the #1 rated offensive tackle. And then if you click on his page, let's see. Yeah, the composites 5-star, #1 offensive tackle. Yeah, it's actually the composite has him as a 5-star and the #1 offensive tackle. It's 247 that has him as the #2 offensive tackle
and a 4-star.
And well, they do, but that doesn't even make sense because they've got him ranked as the 13th best player in the country.
How is he a 4-star?
Only 4 spots less than the composite. And yeah, there's usually 35 to 45 stars. So if he's the 13th, yeah, I don't know why that doesn't make any sense to me.
And like I said, it would be different, Mark, if it was every now and again. But I mean, some people could say all y'all do is complain and whine. But it's like there's multiple examples of these elite prospects that soon as word gets out about them, think about picking Miami, they get reevaluated and they get dropped. Rashada was a 5-star up until like 3 weeks before he committed to Miami. He was a 4-star. I'm just saying.
So, Casey, to answer your question before about the topics on the shows, let's keep in mind, #1, Cam was on vacation this week, so we could have had no show. That was an option to have no show. But I instead brought on a guy that works through analytics and so forth, and we made it a very Miami. It was about conference realignment and all those sorts of things, but it was very Miami-centric, talking about how large is the fan base, the media market, how good are the academics and all those metrics and looking at it. So it was a very Miami-based show. So, Casey, if you want to sponsor the show, then you can dictate what we talk about on here.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just don't watch. I don't know what to tell you.
We want you on here. We want you here. But if you, my good sir or ma'am, I don't know what you are. If you have any suggestions, 2 ways to go about this. The donation. You donate, we'll answer your question, baby. Easy. Donate. Or second, leave it in the comments section and say, can you all answer this question on the next show? But if you want it done immediately, throw a good old $4.99 on there for your boy. And we ain't got nothing to worry about.
That's it. So basically, we had a show last night, and I thought it was a really good show, and it had a great response. It was a different kind of show, but I made sure that it was very Miami focused, and especially it was very relevant to what's going on now too. All right, Colvarks is going to lead us into our next topic. All right, wholesome one, here it is. There are options for Miami. The options
Man,
would be: do we hang tight and trust the ACC and stay here? Or do we look to the SEC? Do we look to the Big Ten? What would you do? What are you looking at?
okay, this is a money grab. Okay, we talked about this last week, and it gave me more time to do more research on it as opposed to just be emotional about the decision last week because it did turn into kind of a conference realignment show at the end of ours last week, and we just basically spent the last 40 minutes talking about the betterment of college football. Now, from the lenses of the orange and green, okay, I think it's a two-horse race. I think leaving the ACC, it would be the best decision. I don't care that Miami hasn't won the ACC. I don't care that Miami has only won the Coastal one time outright and two times technically, except for we did a self-imposed ban. If that's all you have, and if we're worried about other fans trash talking us, that's going to happen no matter what. Miami could win the next three straight championships, Mark. They'll still say we were irrelevant for 15 years and would be well within their right to feel however they want to feel. So we have to understand that. Okay, we have to keep in mind that when we're looking at the University of Miami, we have to be selfish about this. What is going to be best for the University of Miami's football program moving forward? Not what's best for other people's opinion, not what's best to be going back and forth with people on Twitter. Okay, because that Twitter's not a real place. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, dude. Okay, let's understand that. Now, in this two-horse race, you have the Big Ten in the Southeastern Conference. I have always felt like Miami should have been in the SEC. People have called me dumb for that for years. That doesn't bother me. That's okay. I felt like, and yeah, we would have been a doormat and probably like struggling to win 7, 8 games for a long part of that. Or there's another side of it where Miami could have done really well and been protected by the NCAA because we're part of the good old boy SEC program, so they wouldn't attack us as much as they did before. There's two sides of that coin. We would never know. There's an opportunity for us to join this conference. The conference has dominated college football. The conference has put out the most NFL draft picks. And the conference has some built in rivalries in it that would help us ascend to the forefront. If you want to be the man, you must beat the man. And there's a direct couple of teams: University of Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana State, Texas A&M. Okay, those are four prestigious programs that have done some really good things the last 4 or 5 years and have stole recruits out of South Florida. Well, if they had to come down here and we had a program where we could go line up toe to toe with them and beat them some years, lose to them some years, be respectful with them some years, then it would be these recruits wouldn't have to say, do I want to go to Miami and put on for the crib and go in the fourth or fifth round? Or do I want to go to Georgia, sit on the bench for 2 years, and then be a first round draft pick when it's time to get ready? Okay. That's how I feel about the SEC. The money, of course, crazy. Now, it ain't that much different than the Big Ten. I understand a lot of people, and I get it. I get it. I'm from Miami, from Dade County. I get it. A lot of times we don't give a beep about nobody else. We only care about us in the crib in Miami, and I get that. But now living in here where I live in the realms that I am and going to games up here in the northern Midwest, they love their ball up here too. It's some quality football up here too. And Miami joining the Big Ten with the teams that they already have. Talk about Miami versus USC, Miami versus UCLA, Miami versus Michigan, revenge against Ohio State, playing Michigan State. Uh, 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 Shoot, Notre Dame is on the way, so we would get Notre Dame. I mean, you talk about six,
Could
seven deep
could take
trips to
another
university.
shot at Wisconsin.
Finally being able to beat them. That's what I say. Beating Wisconsin. Taking a trip to Minnesota. I can see McCain's in person. You know, I personally, Nebraska, the rivalry of the 90s and the late 80s, early 90s, Miami, Nebraska could come back and be an annual thing. Again, geographically, it makes sense to join the SEC. I get it. If I were to put my name in the hat, I would say let's join the Big Ten. If they ask me for my question, here's other reasons why. And people could come back on this and call me stupid. Cool, whatever, no problem. Could say we're soft. I'm scared. I don't. That's okay. I get it. The SEC is a great conference, great talent. There's nothing I could say to take away from that. You're gonna have your opinion anyway. I'm gonna have mine. When I think about that, and being in a conference like the Big Ten, where of course those built-in rivalries. That's the first thing we talk about. Now let's talk about the second thing. Okay. Um, Miami academically, to me, would be welcomed way more in the Big Ten than it would be in the SEC. Okay. They are not a part of some of the country clubs that people get in with, but when you talk about academics wise, the Big Ten leans in on that, and they would be able to funnel more money into our other sports, and maybe we could become full a full Title IX school, getting a softball team, getting a men's soccer team, like being able to funnel money into that would be really big to me. I would really like that. And being the marquee brand out of the state of Florida. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, Tallahassee is going to follow UF to the SEC. They've always felt like they should be in there. They sit right there, and it makes sense geographically. It makes sense for them to sit, right in there. Some people are bringing up questions about travel. It's 2022, dude. We could travel. That doesn't bother me. We could travel. That we get plane rides all over the place, and what you get with 6 away games a year. It'll be cool. Like I said, to see us in a whiteout at Penn State, see us at sold out Nebraska, see us at USC. You know how long I've wanted that, Mark. Yeah, hey, travel is a go up to Rutgers and go play Greg Schiano. Hey, man, um, it's all good. It's I think Miami's good if they go either way. But if, in my opinion, if we were to go in the SEC route, we would become one of 3 teams in the SEC. Okay. One of 3 Florida teams in the SEC. So we don't stand out. We don't stand out at all. You also think about the fact that the Big Ten would now feel like a national brand that would span from sunny South Carolina all the way up to the Northeast and all the way down to sunny Miami, and would have every single time zone in it, which I think they would also incorporate in their scheduling so that people can see teams on each time zone. Okay.
Which they have that now.
Oh, see, boom. I listen. I understand all the thumbs down in some of those viewpoints. I get how people could look at it as, how do you not get it? Cold weather, it's freezing. I get it. I understand. Miami has also not played well in cold weather at all. It's usually a big thorn in our behind. But go ahead.
Wholesome one, what do you've experienced cold weather for the last
Mm-hmm.
however many years. Now
Mm-hmm.
let's understand that's what you described to me last winter when we had some conversations. Now that's cold weather. Okay. What do you think the average, forget the fans for a second because they don't matter. The players matter that are playing in the cold weather. What do you think the average Miami football player would consider to be cold to show up for a game?
65.
Anything under 65,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be cold. Okay.
Mark, when it's like 72 in the morning, people got on like jackets.
So when Miami goes to Virginia Tech in November or goes to Boston College or goes to even up to North Carolina, sometimes November night games, North Carolina,
Duke.
NC State, Duke, that they got to play every year. They go up to Pitt. They played,
Hmm.
that loss against Pitt in 2017 at the end of the season. I don't know what the
Hmm.
temperature was that particular day, but I'm sure it wasn't
Hmm.
much over 45 if it was. Um, okay, because I don't know if there are misconceptions about weather in the Big Ten footprint. Well, the footprint's huge. So Columbus is probably the warmest place in the Big Ten. Columbus or Bloomington, Indiana. It's the furthest south. Maybe Maryland, College Park, Maryland might be right there too. And then your coldest would be Minneapolis, Madison, Wisconsin. Those would be the coldest. And then everything somewhere in between. And it depends on what front's coming through when and all that sort of thing. But I got to think that for the average football player, and let's all keep in mind that whether you played at USC or Miami, somewhere like that, or you played at Wisconsin or Minnesota, if you're a really good football player, you get drafted to the NFL, and then who knows where you're going to be playing. Tom Brady's a California kid that turned out to
Went to
be
Michigan.
arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history, playing in New England in playoff games in January. And Brett Favre turned out to be
And
a
let's not forget where he went to college, Michigan.
yeah. Brett Favre
I
turned
mean,
out
I
to
know you
be
don't like bringing that up, but
bring it up all day. It doesn't matter to me. Brett Favre turned out to be a great, like an all-time famous for playing great in cold weather. He's from Southern
hmm
Mississippi. Said he never played in cold weather until he got to Green Bay. Got used to it. So the point is that the NFL doesn't discriminate against it. It's just they just take the best player. They don't think, oh, well, we're the Minnesota Vikings. We can't draft anybody from Florida. No, they draft whoever they want, and they adjust. Um, in terms of weather in the Big Ten, what some people might like is that when it's pushing 100 degrees the first week of the season, it's going to be more like 80 in the Big Ten. You're going to get relieved from a week or two of heat where it's going to be like perfect to play. Um, and really, you're not going to see what I would consider to be a weather game in the Big Ten until like early to mid November, and that's not even taken all the time. So, yeah, it's going to be a factor. I think it might be a little overplayed. I don't know.
I mean, let's be honest, Mark. Miami has played at Pittsburgh at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I
in Boston
remember
College, right?
vividly
Once
in
in a while.
2013, Miami played at Pittsburgh and it was like 52 degrees. Our players had on, jackets or whatever, and we beat them pretty bad. But Denzel Perryman went out there shirtless to prove to the whole team, like, nah, we good. We came in to play football. And I mean, like you said, if you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, you could be playing the Miami Dolphins one week and then be playing the Green Bay Packers on legendary Lambeau Field in snow rain. So I mean, hey, I think again, a bunch of people look at that, 52 degrees. I was close. A bunch of people. Now we lost that game, but hey, people are gonna have their opinions. And like I said, I'm one of those people that I respect folks' opinions. When you ask me, of course, I would love to play the Florida Gators every single year. I would love to be able to chant SEC with the rest of the southern region of the country. But we have to understand, you got to kind of think on a national scale now. Think bigger. The SEC is literally just going to be that little end of the country. We're talking about joining a conference where we could be playing, we could be the national game. Just again, I for the longest was a big advocate, man. Big advocate for us joining the SEC. And I get it, man. I get it if you think opposite. But for me, the whole someone, I would love to see the University of Miami if we were to pick. Now, again, I don't have any say so in this. They're gonna have their conversations with the administration. And of course, it's gonna come down to money. And one of the biggest things I think Coach Dan Radakovich is going to look into because he wants to make the University of Miami up on par with the other schools as far as having all the sports, all the major sports. Not saying like women's water polo, but all our major sports, like I said, men's soccer, volleyball, softball, being able to bring that to the University of Miami. We won't be able to do hockey and nothing like that, but just bringing those main things and having people help us build that up. Facility money, contract money. Okay, I would love it. I would love to have that funneled in. And one of the other things that you have to keep in mind when it comes to joining these conferences are matchups. And I just riled off to you like 6 or 7 really good matchups for the University of Miami. Just like I could say Miami and Bama would be, I don't know if it would be a good game though. Miami and Auburn would be good. Miami LSU probably would be really good. Miami Georgia probably wouldn't be good for long either. But those are 4 really good teams. Miami Auburn, I think, would be a really good game. Um, just at face value, Miami Ole Miss, Miami Mississippi State. So you could make the same argument as far as some pretty solid games, but historic rivalries, national championship games like Nebraska and Ohio State, it would be great, man. And to see the University of Miami on some of those legendary fields, I think would be cool. Now, somebody did say, can't forget Miami, Oklahoma, and Miami, Texas, because those 2 teams are joining the SEC. But for me, like I said, when Cam gets his opportunity, hopefully Cam's really enjoying his time on vacation. Much love to you, brother. Maybe he would say SEC, or Brad Tejada would say SEC, or Paul or whoever. They're gonna have their own opinions. But for me, I'm waving the Big Ten flag when it comes to University of Miami.
So whether it's the SEC or the Big Ten, and we'll take the Big Ten for an example. You just mentioned Miami going to Wisconsin, going to Penn State, going to Ohio State, even going. I know Miami fans don't give a whole lot of thought to Iowa, but Kinnick Stadium, it's a legendary place to play, and it's packed and it's loud, and all those places, Nebraska, and we can go on down the line. And the SEC, we could do the same thing. You can name like 7 or 8 places that are cool to go play.
Mhm.
How many places do you think Miami's juiced about going to play in the ACC? FSU's the rival, going to Clemson. Other than that,
I don't know about that, like sparking the team up to go play at Clemson. Maybe just because the rivalry of not rival, it's not a rivalry. We don't beat them. Maybe just to get them back for how they kind of kicked us in the head towards the end there against
but
Clemson in
in
2020.
but in terms of great places to play, those are the only
Oh,
2 that
Tech.
I really consider to be in Virginia Tech. Okay.
Well, because the way I look at it is prime time, ABC. What has the nostalgia to it? What can make someone who lives in Brookings, South Dakota, turn on the TV and say, "Oh, snap! Miami's playing blankety blank," and it's at blankety blank. Like I said, Mark, I'm up here, and it's my sophomore year as a transfer here in Fargo, and Miami Notre Dame was on every TV screen in North Dakota. Okay, because people are like, this had some juice to it. Now, mind you, I'm the only one screaming, but that's because I'm the cane in the house, and people were happy for me and happy that my Canes were kicking behind. But I just I don't know if it's too many places that you get riled up for. Pitt this past season, when they were on that run, that was pretty cool. That was pretty good to give them their first home loss of the season. Um, but as far as on the road, nostalgic places, I only could really think of at Tallahassee is usually one of the better games every single year. As much as I can't stand that school, it's a good home environment, especially if everybody shows up. It's a really good one.
Folks, take this
Um,
in. Wholesome One, take this in. I'm on a page that I've been looking at a lot since all this started to blow up a week ago. This shows us, it's called a Sports Media Watch. It shows the ratings of every college football game on the networks for the entire season. And so let's start with the bowl games. So we know who was in the playoff. The playoffs get the most watch, obviously. But
Mhm.
do you know what game got as much viewership as both playoff games? The Rose Bowl.
Miami, Tallahassee.
No,
Okay.
no, no, no. So I'm looking at the postseason, the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl. As many people watch the Rose Bowl as watch the two playoff games. So that's got a Big
You
Ten
could
team, right?
argue the Rose Bowl was a better game than any one of those playoff
Well, sure,
games.
they were
That was
better
a good
games.
game.
It was a better game, yeah. But
Right.
the point is that the Rose Bowl, more people watch the Rose Bowl than any postseason game every year. So that's a Big Ten team. The next watched SEC team, the next watched Notre Dame, the next watched Big Ten, the next watched Big Ten SEC, the next watched Big Ten SEC. You've got to go. You've got to go like 11 games deep in bowl play to find a game the highest rated that was not an SEC or Big Ten team in the game. Okay, if you go to the championship weekend, the two most watched championship games, the SEC and the Big Ten, and that's every year. If you go to the last game of the season, the most watched games, Ohio State, Michigan, that was the most watched regular season game in college football for the entire season. Number 2, Alabama, Auburn. And number 4 was a Big Ten game. Number 5 was a Big Ten game. Number 6 was an SEC game. 6 of the top 7 games the last weekend of the season were SEC or Big Ten games. The week before, Arkansas, Alabama, Michigan State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Wisconsin. 3, 4, 5 of the top 6 games, SEC or Big Ten games. The week before, Michigan, Penn State was the highest rated game of the week. Georgia, Tennessee was next. Purdue, Ohio State was next. The 3 top games of the week were Big Ten and SEC games, and 4, 5 of the top 7. This is every week. The next week, Ohio State, Nebraska was the highest rated game of the week, followed by LSU, Alabama, followed by Michigan State, Purdue, followed by Auburn, Texas A&M. Every week, the 4 or 5 top rated games of the week are SEC and Big Ten games.
And that's why I say in the large scheme of things, Miami is, to me, it's a win either way. But I think it's a bigger win um, getting into the Big Ten, especially because I think that they would promote us like the flagship program in school, flagship school that we are, but the flagship program that we're becoming. Okay, and the reason why I say that is, and we argue, not argue, we talked about this last week. The way things were set up before is that these conferences had teams that fit them. You know, when I said Big Ten, you think of massive country offensive linemen, a quarterback with an arm, wide receivers that just know where to be, and some really good team defense being played. When I said Pac-12, you're talking about, yeah, the D tackles may be like 280. The D ends are like 6'3", but they're like 225. They fly off the ball. Speed, 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 open spread. Sunny shines in Pac-12 after dark. You know, when I said ACC, you're talking about could be Sunny Miami, could be Clemson, could be Pittsburgh. It just all these places had identity to them. That's gone. It's gone. You have to pick which one you want to join. Want to go to the Big Ten or want to go to the SEC? And like I said, either way, I think we would have a great opportunity. Either way, you're going to make money. Either way, you're going to be financially secure. But Florida ain't leaving the SEC to join the Big Ten. And I don't see Tallahassee joining the Big Ten. So why not go be the flagship Florida market and be the one? When they talk about Southern ball, when it comes to the Big Ten, you will get eyes on Miami games. Because guess what? Now you give a UCLA fan that has a job in Wyoming who knows UCLA after this bye week is playing Miami at Miami. So they're watching Miami play Iowa. It will be no reason for them to watch that game any other time. But now they're tuned into Iowa's games. They're tuned into Miami games. Why? Because they're conference bonus. You know, that's all I'm saying. Again, I respect it. I respect everybody's viewpoint, but when it comes to my view, I say Big Ten.
I kept this comment on the screen, Laura. First of all, I hope you understand that I'm fully I fully recognize that there were bowl games canceled. I could list them off, starting with NC State and UCLA. That was probably the best matchup that was canceled, but that would not change anything that I just stated. Believe me.
Mhm. So, Mark, I tell you this much: things have really changed at the University of Miami as far as the perception. Now, we have to again win games. And guess what, Mark? We 2 months away, baby. It's almost here, almost time
Yeah.
for us to get down. Next time within the next week or two, next show or two, we're going to start our position breakdowns because it's almost that time to get rolling here. And that may come to you all on record. It may come to you all on live. Me and Mark can kind of figure that out because we've been doing it for years. We'll figure out whatever formula we want to do and chop it up and get it to you. Where we can talk about this. But the off season is behind us, or the season. It doesn't count. It's gone. They've given us the last 2 years, Mark. They've given us something to talk about for weeks. Last year was Texas OU and conference realignment. This year, conference realignment, USC, UCLA joining the Big Ten, and now all these other schools trying to figure it out. So when it comes to college football, it's a year-round sport now. It really is year-round. Now, for the elite programs, it's always been year-round. They've been, hunting and focusing on how to get great year-round. But um, it's good. It's going really good, and there are a couple more prospects that will, in my opinion, be committing to Miami here soon within the next 2 weeks. Now, Miami could have a top three class by kickoff of Bethune-Cookman. We still have to go out here and put a good product on the football field. And I think we will. I really think we will. Not saying we're busting out 11-1 and 12-0, and here we come playoffs. We're Michigan this season. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the product that we're going to see. I believe we can be proud of it and know that it's only going to get better moving forward. Because when you start influxing talent, you start really teaching young men what hard work and discipline really is and how to play team defense. Some of the stuff that we've done in the past is not going to come up to have us lose stupid games. We're not going to have a screen pass be thrown and a D tackle smoke the quarterback when they're 20 yards away from the play. We're of course going to have offsides, some holding, some that happens. Drop passes happen, but not stuff that's going to result in us beating ourselves. And that is what I'm really excited about when it comes to a Mario Cristobal team. Yes, Mario Cristobal teams are still highly penalized. They're very aggressive teams. But penalties, like you said, is one thing. Penalized, but when is the penalty? When are the turnovers? When does the turnover, the turning point happen? That's a whole different thing. You got three first quarter interceptions, and let's say you're down 21-0 in the first quarter. That's one thing. Having three interceptions and giving up three touchdowns in the fourth quarter, that's a whole different conversation. So this new staff that Coach Cristobal has put together, him and Dan Radakovich, and hopefully building some real leaders in this locker room. That's what I'm thinking of. It's going to make the big difference when it comes to University of Miami.
To finish us off here, Casey's asking the question that even though you were totally on board and wanted Mario, are you surprised with how quickly he's got Miami hot again?
Hell to the yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was wholeheartedly, I'm the flagship bearer for the Mario Cristobal hype train. But even I didn't know that it would happen this fast. Even I didn't know that couldn't even dream of the staff that he put together the way that he did. Okay. And I really like that. I really like he said, don't forget the he must be talking about the you. That's what I like. I love it. I love it. I love it. Getting some love from the Ohio State people. That's cute. I like it. I like it.
All
Whoa,
right. Good stuff
man.
from everyone. Appreciate you being here. And as the Wholesome One just stated, we will have position previews, extensive position previews, thanks to him, coming up here soon.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you so much for always allowing me to have the opportunity. Thank you all for being here. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Come check me out. Um, I was celebrating a birthday last week, so I wasn't able to go live, and I haven't been live in a little bit. But celebrating my 26th. Wow, getting up there, Mark. Getting up there, man.
Wow. Getting up there. To put that in
Oh,
perspective,
man.
my son will be 26 in about 6 months.
Life. Hey, like they say, it's a blessing if you can continue to keep saying good morning.
That's
That's
right.
it.
It is.
That's
It
it.
is a blessing.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I have
it's a
nothing to
gift,
complain
man.
about.
It's a gift. But
All
yeah,
right,
we're
Wholesome One.
excited. Expect some defensive end help coming this weekend. Mark, we got some people that I believe will be committing to University of Miami. Um, Jaden Wayne and Samuel Pemba are two edge rushers. Both of them are top 5 at their position, and they're both the two edge rushers out of IMG, and they both commit this weekend. So I don't know if we get 2 of 2. We might get 1 of 2. But they both have been crystal balled 100% to University of Miami. So people are leaning on that. Now we need it. Both of them are 6'4", 6'5", 250, ready made in NCAA Division One bodies. We need that, and we need to influx that into the team. But we'll get to that next Wednesday once they both are Canes.
Great, folks. Back here next Wednesday with Cam, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Back here with the Wholesome One, Thursday at 8. See you then.